People have the tweet queued up, so I don't have to like sit here for 30 seconds fumbling to get the link. So that's tweeted. I have my iced tea. So I am ready to hang out for a little bit. Originally I think I scheduled this on Tuesday, maybe it was a Tuesday. Might have been Wednesday. I scheduled this. I thought we would be doing reading sprints. I thought we would, get some reading done. And then Thursday happened, and all of book Twitter showed their ass. And I don't really feel like reading, but I did want to come on still. I figured I could at least update the people on what I finished, and I did manage to finish Influence by Sarah Shepard with some consultations, contributions. I'm not really sure what Lila Buckingham's involvement was, but she is listed. I think she's listed on the cover of the book. She's listed on the Goodreads page for sure. She is mentioned in she gets like a little section in the acknowledgments. So like she did something. Couldn't tell you what she did, because despite being a teen influencer, the book still read like 2019 like 2009 fanfic of like what it would be like to be famous, which is a choice, not a choice I would make, but it is what it is. I can't change it now. So I wouldn't. If you want a messy read, I think you could probably pick up Influence from the library. Goodreads is still saying it's coming out next month, but NetGalley is saying that it's coming out in 2021. I think January is the new publication date, January 2021. So I don't really know how much of a winter read it is. Like a summer beach read, like something you read by the pool, I think would be much easier to get teens to read that. Like they don't have a lot else to do with their time, maybe. But in January, I don't think I'd be looking for Influence. It is a hot mess of a book, but I think that there are other hot messes of a book that are better. Like I think if you really just wanted messy drama, you could read American Royals, where sure, it doesn't really grapple with a lot of the history that you probably would want it to grapple with, but there's an actual plot, whereas Influence is just like we have four perspectives and they kind of come together 60% of the way through the book to focus on something. So that's all I'm going to say for now, because if the book doesn't come out until January, I don't know why I would talk about it now if it doesn't make sense to me. So that was my most recent read. And then yesterday I started reading Conventionally Yours by Annabeth Albert, I want to say. And I thought it was a young adult title when I requested it on NetGalley. And then I started reading it, and these are definitely not a young adult title. This is definitely an adult title, which I'm not mad about. Like I said on Goodreads, I'm very like okay with it, but it doesn't read like an adult title, which is kind of bothering me a little bit. It kind of reads, and it's also coming out from Source Books, which I think is why I thought it was young adult. I didn't know that Source Books published adult titles, so I don't know what's going on there, but this is it's weird so far. But hello, welcome. Happy you guys could make it. I'm doing okay. I'm doing much better than when I woke up this morning. When I woke up, there have been so many people just in general that I follow that are always talking about how you shouldn't wake up and then immediately go to Twitter, or like wake up and immediately check your notifications. And I might have to start doing that, because when I woke up and saw this woman was out here talking about how I voted for Trump, I thought he was better. To be fair, I think that we had like the whole argument of, well, we had two bad people is a shitty argument. I don't believe it. But two, I think that anyway, not gonna hang on that one for too long. But that was just not the start to my morning that I needed. Especially after yesterday. Yesterday was a shit show, as we all know if we were on book Twitter. It was a shit show of a day. And so, and I'm saying that as someone who, I think I follow like 400, not even 400 people. I think it's like how many people do I follow on Twitter? I feel like in the grand scheme of life, I don't really follow that many people. And so let's see here. Let's be accurate with the folks. I follow 286 people. Probably 86 of those people are like on BookTube and like talk about books, like 86. And that's including like publishing companies. So like when book Twitter's stupid shit gets on my dash, I feel like it has to be really stupid. And so yeah. Shit show of a day. It really was. And I'm sure they're still going today, but because I follow like maybe of the 86, maybe like 40 of them are like booktubers, I'm really bad at following people back. And then that's a thing. But yeah, so like my book Twitter experience is so small that I'm just like, how are there so many racists? I mean, to be fair, a lot of the racism that I'd be seeing be like replies to people that I follow, or like people I follow replying to them, or like quote tweeting things. So it's never really like I'm scrolling through racism on the timeline. I just happen to see reactions to racism on the timeline. But it just, I don't understand a lot of the thought processes. I don't really, and it's it's so easy to not say anything. Sure, you're still gonna get a side eye, but y'all just be out here with your whole chests, just being like this. Like she really, I don't. In 2016, saying you voted for Trump was not a cute look. In 2020, I feel like it's even worse. You know, like we had the whole children being separated from their parents at the border. We have this whole current coronavirus situation where we have 100,000 people that are dead. New Zealand has like what, 50? It's not 100,000. They don't have anybody in hospitals currently. But to top it off, like it was like late last night, early this morning, the man was sitting there tweeting about wanting to shoot civilians using the U.S. military, which I feel is illegal. I feel like you can't do that. I did try to Google it because I didn't think you could dispatch the army within the United States, and apparently you can. But I don't think they can shoot civilians. But again, I'm Book Twitter's biggest dumb bitch, so who knows? But like after that, like freshly after that, you want to tweet, I thought he was going to do a good job. Okay. I mean, I think, I don't know. I would say you should just stick to books. But even just sticking to books yesterday was getting people in trouble, which I feel like I'm not the person who should be talking about it, because you could easily scroll through my channel. You could scroll through my read books on Goodreads. Like, there's no pretending that I'm out here reading Black literature. I'm out here hyping Black. Like, you could find one or two reviews. I know that I've read some. This year I've only read two. I did scroll through myself. I read Hair Love and a Shuri graphic novel. So, like, 130 pages of... So I think I read more than one volume of Shuri. I think I read a couple of volumes of Shuri. I don't know. Not that in the grand scheme of the number of pages that I've read, very few of them have been Black authors. So I can't pretend, like, I'm not going to act like I'm the epitome of your Black book recommendations. It's just not going to be a thing. But I don't understand some of the thought processes of yesterday's tweets. If you're out here telling people to read The Hate U Give, obviously that was a very hyped book. There was a movie, there was drama about the movie, like there was a whole conversation, like people have read The Hate U Give and you're still saying these things. So obviously there was a disconnect there. I don't think recommending it again is going to do any better. Who knows? Y'all, you could be doing something. I haven't seen any growth. I tweeted this earlier. I see a lot of people saying the same thing. Here's the thing. I created this channel in 2012 when I first started watching BookTube videos. So for 8 years, I've been watching BookTube, seeing people talk about books. I created my first video, I want to say, in 2016. maybe 2014, somewhere in there. So for a long time, I've been, on the outskirts just looking at things. And we had the same conversations over and over again. And a lot of the conversations we were having yesterday were conversations we had last year, we had in 2018. So this whole we're growing, we're doing things like, oh, we're such a small community. No, we literally have 4 conversations in all of BookTubedom. We have the diversity conversation. We have YA is real books conversation. We have the makeup conversation will get brought up as a periphery conversation. There aren't that many discussions we'd be having on BookTube. Black people in the BookTube community has been a very constant one. So how you don't know how to act on Book Twitter? It's not the first time somebody Black has been murdered. Not the first time. Certainly not the first time since Book Twitter has been book Twittering. So I don't understand how I don't get it. He did call a slug. Of all the things that Donald Trump has ever called a Black person, I'm sure thugs is actually the nicest. I feel like Donald Trump says a lot of bad things about Black people, and thugs, I think that's probably the nicest thing he's ever said about a Black person. I don't know. I tend to avoid him, but when he's saying we should shoot civilians, that's a little hard to ignore. It's not the kind of thing you just forget happened. Hello, hi, happy you could make it. Happy you're here. There seems to be a lot of people here according to StreamYard. There's 8 people here. Feel free to suggest topics of discussion in the chat. Like I said, I planned on this being a reading sprint stream, but I just don't really feel like reading Conventionally Yours. So that does come out next Wednesday on June 3rd. So I was trying to get through it this week, but I have time. It's not the end of the world. I have faith that I will get to it. So that's the thing. I also don't know what I'm going to be filming my May. Can I set things down? Holy shit. My May wrap up and June TBRs need to get done, but who knows when that's happening, because tomorrow is BookFest in bed. So I will probably be watching that. I am going to make a brief appearance chatting about some upcoming contemporary novels. I forget when, what time. So you might want to check the Twitter for that one. I know they have the schedule over there. If I'm looking down so I can get the comments, display them, so we can all discuss together. Can I not? Holy shit. Okay. I'm assuming this is about me saying this is the nicest thing Donald Trump, a Black person. And thank you for agreeing. I haven't been part of Book Twitter very long, but the same arguments have cycled through. Exactly. Not even 2 to 3 months. Sometimes it'll be in the same month. Now, to be fair, we did just have Black History. Black History Month wasn't very long ago. It was 3 months ago. That was, back in February. So discussing, Black people in the bookish online community, that it's maybe it's a little unfair to say that we just had it, because again, it was just Black History Month. But all the books, we'll take it back. This go around, I have seen a lot more retweets of nonfiction Black books, or nonfiction books by Black authors, a lot more autobiographies, discussions, collections of essays, that kind of a thing. But the same, very hyped, and there's nothing wrong with those hyped Black books. I have reviews of a couple of them on my channel. I've read those. If you look at my Blackathon TBR from this year and last year, a lot of the titles that I brought home from the library were hyped. This year, I didn't get through nearly as many as I did last year. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, but it's it's very much I think what bothers me more is the list of here's my collection of Black booktubers. And some of them, I'm not going to be oh, I haven't I've gone through everybody's, you know, I've gone through everybody's lists and like looked at every channel, but a lot of the lists seem to be like the same people from 2007, like at the end of 2018. I want to say, when I was looking for like to get back into making booktube content, uh, there was like whenever the Hate You Give drama popped off, there were a million discussion videos, and in the description of all those videos was like lists and lists of like so many Black booktubers, and I went through and subscribed to a lot of them at the time. I don't watch all of them now. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you people. Like, I don't watch a lot of booktubers now. Just gonna tell on myself, but those same people that I went back to in like 2018, 2017, wherever that happened to be, those are the same people getting shouted out on Twitter now on the same lists. And I was talking to some people yesterday in the DMs, and it's like, it's really nice to like see you try and like boost Black creators during this time. But it's also just really annoying that somebody had to be murdered, and their murder had to be very high profile in order for you to recognize that I'm over here talking about books. Like, it's like you only looked out for me, like you were only shouting me out during a Black History Month or after this man was murdered. Like, I don't know. I feel like other booktubers, like, people don't have to die in order for their channel to get discovered. And to get noticed. And so, like, while it's nice to see people subscribing, there haven't been any additional comments. I check my comments literally on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. It's not like the engagement has really changed. Like, you're just like, you're here, but like you're not really here. And it's, I don't know, as someone who just like has already had like very slow channel growth, it doesn't make me feel better to see a spike when somebody died. Like, when somebody was murdered, and we put it on national news, and you were showing your ass on book Twitter, and so you clicking your little subscribe, like, it doesn't make me feel better. Like, it doesn't, like, you might have assuaged some guilt you've been feeling, but you really haven't done anything for me. I mean, I guess you gave me a couple of watch time minutes. Like, I guess I should appreciate that. Happy or excited. Heather and Carly have put a lot of work into it. I put very little work into it because it's not my event, but I will be there, and I'm very excited. Also excited to have a mental break. I have my face mask ready. I tried to go find some pajamas because I don't really own pajamas, but Target was not it. Everything in their little section was, yeah. I feel like only recently we've been getting books by Black authors and or Black characters that's not trauma porn. Yeah, they're definitely not as hyped. I know there have been some in the past. In 2018, I read This Is Kind of an Epic Love Story by, I think it's Kacen Callender now. I believe that is the right name. Let me Google, because I would feel so terrible if that was the wrong name. Because I know they changed their name. Kacen. Yes. Kacen Callender. It's kind of an epic love story. It was a queer male. I think it was a Black, our protagonist was Black, and he was dating maybe he wasn't Latinx. I think he was he? It was a male romance. It was kind of not trauma porny. I think the main character's dad had like passed away. I forget how or why, but I don't think he was alive. So like, I guess like that was kind of sad or whatever. But even though I didn't really love the book, it definitely wasn't trauma porn, and I liked that. But yeah, like they're definitely not as. There are definitely more rom-com-y, what is the word I'm looking for? Contemporaries being published. What was this one? Didn't get me wrong, there were some, but I feel like after Tomi Adeyemi had some widespread success in publishing, given fantasy is definitely not my genre. I do know that they were really pushing Children of Blood and Bone. They were pushing Children of Blood and Bone for years before it came out, I feel like. So I remember like hearing about Tomi Adeyemi long before Children of Blood and Bone was published. And then when when I was at the library and it was there, I was like, oh my goodness, like that's the book. So I don't really know what it was like in fantasy in terms of like black fantasy that was YA, that wasn't, that's, you know, somewhat modern and not from ye olde times, because obviously black authors have been publishing in like sci-fi and fantasy for a long time. Um, but yeah, maybe definitely. Um, as we all know, I really appreciate Children of Blood and Bone. I like Virtue and Vengeance. I know that no one else seems to like that book on BookTube. Um, I don't know. I think that I understand that people get annoyed that the characters are different, but I think that the stakes are now very different. Like before, it was just a quest, and now we're like, okay, how do we deal with the ramifications of that? And I think that it worked for me, but I also didn't read Children, Blood, and Bone and go straight into the sequel. In fact, the only time I've ever really done that is when I was catching up on Cassandra Clare stuff. Like, I don't feel the need to go back. That is not a tapestry. Thank you, but this is my blanket, and it's definitely not a tapestry. Um, I feel like everybody in California has this blanket. There are memes of this blanket, but it keeps me warm. So, but I was saying was I don't think that it's necessary to read like book one in a series before you read book two. Like if you've already read it, like I'm not going back to reread something just to continue on with the series. Like I don't go back and watch movies before I go see the new movie. Like I don't have time for that. I think if the book doesn't make sense, it's not going to make any more sense because I went back and read stuff. Like I'm not. I briefly toyed with the idea of rereading the Twilight Saga, which is why I initially checked out Life and Death. I think that was this month. The beginning of May I read that. And then I read Life and Death, and I was like, yeah, I'm not rereading Twilight after this. And I'm definitely not going to go on to New Moon. So I think that I'm just going to enjoy the book for what it was. And so maybe that helped me enjoy Virtue and Vengeance, because Blood and Bone was like a vague memory from like a year and a half ago. I think it's great. I think you should watch it. And I'm happy that it's one of my most viewed videos. That makes me happy. It's the, I think it's my, no, because my 2018 Blackathon TBR has like 400 views, and I think this year's has like 300. So outside of talking about black books that I haven't read, the Virtue and Vengeance discussion is overwhelmingly my most successful book. My most successful video about black things. So love that for me. And I don't think if without Blood and Bone we could have had a River of Royal Blood. Don't think we would have got that one. So I think your earlier point does make sense. And I think A River of Royal Blood might be a better book. Maybe just a little bit. I think that it's definitely a clearer a clearer discussion of race and of imperialism than the discussions in Virtue and Vengeance and Blood and Bone. I think it's just maybe a better discussion of those things. We're going to open up the stream on my phone just in case comments are not coming through, because I would hate to be talking to myself, because like I said, I don't have anything planned. I'd love to hear what you guys have been reading before book Twitter exploded and everyone was showing their asses. I still think that if they wanted to show their ass, then they could really start an OnlyFans. They could get paid for it. I don't understand why they're being messy on the timeline for free. That just seems like a silly idea to me. Yes, that is the one by Amanda Joy. A River of Royal Blood it's Amanda Joy. And it's really good, and I definitely recommend it. So if you haven't read it, you should read it. Like I said, it deals with imperialism, uh, and there's a lot. It's A River of Blood doesn't deal with very like standard. Oh, magic is gone. We're bringing it back. Plot line. It's more like I can't use my magic, and I need to be able to use it. And so it's more of like there's still like a questy nature. There's still a there's still a um, road trippy aspect. There's still like a mentor. The romance in the book is done much better. It doesn't feel forced. Again, I'm over here saying the real romance is between Zaylee and Amari in Adeyemi's books. So the fact that Anon exists, he bothers me, but I'm not too pressed about it because I'm like, this is just sapphic. And in book 3, I'm going to get the sapphic goodness that I don't think there is any way to read Children of Virtue and Vengeance and explain to me that their love is only platonic. I don't care. Yes, all marketing labels became, yeah, they did. And I don't think that it bothers me to some degree when a book is marketed only like it's like this other book, but I also really understand it. Like, you have to be able to pitch it. I think it only bothers me when they're wildly dissimilar. And I don't think every Black fantasy book that's being published is like Children of Blood and Bone. I don't think that's. I think that they're. I don't know. And I think it's kind of questionable to continue to market things like that when book Twitter and the online bookish community have seemingly all turned against Children of Blood and Bone. I talked about this in my Virtue and Vengeance discussion. And to some degree, this is true with just about any book that's out for any length of time. Like when Emerging Contact came out, I remember everybody was really enjoying it. Everybody was really fucking with it. And then by the time I was reading it last year, everybody was trashing it. The same kind of thing happened with The Cruel Prince, where everyone loved it, and then it got a bunch of shit. And I think the book isn't the best book I've ever read in my entire life, but it's the best in the trilogy. So, like, I think that I don't know if I would continue to market things as like this other thing when I know that the other thing is currently in the stage where everyone is like, we don't fuck with that. That's just me. I'm not a marketing expert. I'm reading Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee. I feel like I've heard a lot about this book. And by heard a lot, I feel like I've seen a lot of people say they've read it or they're reading it. I don't think I'm ever going to read it. I don't have anything against it. I don't know. There's something about it that just, I don't know. But I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that it's actually good. I'm starting Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant. Haven't read it, but I think isn't that like science? Like there's like every time someone talks about Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant, it reminds me of Siren on fucking Freeform, and I hated that show. And so I have no desire to read Into the Drowning Deep, even if it's better than Siren was, because I don't want it, you know? I saw that Camp by L.C. Rosen came out. I hope that's how you pronounce the name. I don't know how I guess it could be Rosen, but I'm assuming it's Rosen. It looks like fun. Still excited for it. I can't. Sure. I mean, I'm excited about most gay books that come out. I'm cautiously optimistic about reading a book set at a camp because I've worked at a camp for a number of years. So could be interesting, could be a fun time. I've never read an L.C. Rosen book, but I know that Jack of Hearts and Other Parts has been pretty widely beloved by people that I know. So I have hopes that it'll be enjoyable. Because I don't think I've ever heard anybody say anything bad about Jack of Hearts. So I'm not overly enthusiastic about getting to camp, but I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I hope that I'll enjoy it. I'm reading We Are the Ants by I'm happy that you're enjoying it. Who was it? I think like a year ago. Who was it? A year ago, my Anna tweeted that her sister was reading the book, and her sister hated it, and so then I felt really good for not buying it at Goodwill because it was like $1. But I do want to say, because this is by Sean David Hutchinson, right? I feel like he has to be so happy right now because yesterday was Thursday, but on like Tuesday and Wednesday, everybody on book Twitter was hating on him because of his new book. That some people are, I think some people are doing the most by saying that it's a blatant ripoff of Red, White, and Royal Blue. I have not read this. I think it's called The State of Us. I did not get an arc of The State of Us. I can't comment on the content, but I can say that just based on the number of videos I've seen about how traditional publishing works, is it possible for him to have read Red, White, and Royal Blue, which came out last May, and have a book come out this June? Sure, like he's an established author. Do I think that's what happened? I don't think so. I think that there have been a number of political rom-com-y books that have been released by traditional publishers and by independent publishers, like independent authors. I don't think this is happening here. Do I believe that the book is problematic? Probably. Like, I've never read a Sean David book. None of his books have ever really appealed to me. But I know that he's breathing a sigh of relief because now everybody is no longer talking about him. And everyone is talking about all the rest of white Twitter showing their asses and retweeting donation links, which you can find below. I did go ahead and update the description of this video and got rid of my personal links. And they're just links to donations of who the Minnesota Freedom Fund had linked on their site. I think there were also some protests happening in Louisville, so their bail fund is down there. General Black Lives Matter. I hope it's the right one. It looked like the legit one to me. That one's down there. But I feel like he's breathing a sigh of relief because book Twitter is no longer dragging him, and we're just dragging our other reviewers who are out here hosting like, hey, hey blackies, drop your Amazon wish list below so I can send you a book. It's a must read. You read like alien erotica though? Like, can I trust that your must read is a real must read? I'll have to look into it because I think when I was reading Running with Lions by Julian Winters, which I did not really like, and I couldn't get into Remy Cameron, but they're published by the same publishing house. And so I'm kind of like, if that's what that publishing house chose to buy from him, like, is not your sidekick gonna be like an actually enjoyable experience? I don't know. I'm reading Bloody Soul by Sonia Patel. Okay, 35 pages. I feel like I personally have to stop judging books at that early because I said that at 15 pages, I said the influence was so good. And then the book went nowhere. Like, we were just following these influencers, and then somebody died, and I was like, the book is almost over. Like, so I can't. I feel like I need to stop judging if I'm going to like something at 35 pages, but I'm happy there's been no cause for alarm so far. Not Blackies. I took that. I mean, I'm happy for you. Like, I'm not mad if people wanted it. Like, I really don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand. Yesterday was the most confusing day I've ever had on book Twitter. I just truly did not understand. I'm very happy that for the past half hour, I haven't been looking at Twitter. Twitter could have literally caught on fire, and I would have no idea. But when I saw that yesterday, I was like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I also kind of question things when it's like, I'm happy you were donating to like I almost said Mississippi. to the Minnesota Fund or signing petitions, but like, are you doing anything for your country? Like, I don't know. I feel like I almost question it if you're only going to tweet about racial injustice when it's happening high profile in America. Like, you have a platform. Your platform is bigger than my platform, sir. You're friends with much bigger creators than I am. Like, I feel like you could tweet about what's happening in Europe, maybe in England. Y'all wanted a Brexit, so I guess I shouldn't say you could talk about Europe. Your country made that decision to leave, but I don't know. I didn't understand that. I don't get it, but I'm not gonna sit here and start dragging people who dropped their link. Like, I don't know. I feel like there are better, but I also feel like I'm not going to be out here telling people to donate if they don't have money to donate. I saw tweets like that too, where they were like, white people, you should be donating. And I'm like, if you're just getting white people's money to like, if the situation becomes like everyone is yelling at me to donate to these things, and so by donating, the white person like absolves the guilt that they feel, or they can feel like they've done a good deed. Like, it's the same thing as when they're just subscribing to me because it's Black History Month or this black man was murdered. Like, okay, like I'm not gonna tell you. Like, I can't tell. Like, I can't just randomly start blocking subscribers who decided to like subscribe to me today. I can't just block people when Google sends me the email, hey, Lula subscribed. Like, I can't be like, oh nope, it's someone was murdered today, let me block. But like, I will side eye, which maybe isn't nice of me. Maybe I'm not a nice person. I don't know. I like to think that I'm a nice person. It's very possible that I'm not. I have been very judgmental the past couple of days, but will not be apologizing for that one. Not today. And if that's how they want to use their, like I said, if that's how you want to go through the world, like, that's more power to you. I can't change it. I can judge it though, so that's what I'll do. I also feel like the tweets, and even here, I feel like I've been very, I don't want to say restrained, because I don't like to think that I'm actively censoring myself, but I'm not going to go out of my way to just be rude to people. I can be rude in the DMs. And so I feel like that's where I've kept most of my sentiments. Like, most of the sentiments have been kept in the DMs. But today is a good day. It's a Friday. We have the finale of Drag Race tonight. So I'm happy about that. Something to look forward to. I'm hoping for a certain outcome. But 2020 has not been kind, so I'm not going to put it out into the universe. So I'm looking forward to that today. I'm looking forward to... That's really it, actually. Next week, we get All-Stars, so I guess I can look forward to that. But All-Stars has definitely not been kind to me. So we're just going to go for the ride there. So that's all I can do for All-Stars. Oh, why are we hiding comments? Why? Show that. I'm happy I had that open. Let's go back up. Is it not gonna... Okay. I'm sorry. Let's see here. I'm happy I had the stream open. Where is it not gonna show on StreamYard for me? It's not. Okay, so let's read the comment. It says that you haven't... Sarah said that she hadn't. Where did it go? Never. Okay, Sarah said she's never seen Siren, but Sci-Fi Part is indeed kicking my ass. I'm doubting. Shout out to you. We all know that I am lacking in reading comprehension. It was on display when I was talking about Crescent City. So I'm going to have my fingers crossed for you there with the science part of Into the Drowning Deep. I hope that it all works out for you. And good luck. As for who I want to win Drag Race, I don't want to put this out into the universe. Because like I was just saying, 2020 has not been kind. But there's a top 3, and I could be okay with 2 of the top 3 winning. And it's not that I would be mad about the third person. Okay. But I think that season 12 of Drag Race has been very boring. I know that Mr. RuPaul was talking about how this is his favorite, top 6 in history, and how he would have liked to keep them all, and he really liked everyone there. But I think this is a really boring season of Drag Race. And I think that part of that was the re-edit that VH1 had to do to get rid of. And so when they re-edited the season, I feel like there was obviously stuff that was happening that we didn't see. And other queens that and so what they were left with was recontextualizing events. It was boring. And Aiden lasted way longer than Aiden needed to be there. And so all of those queens that went home before Aiden, I feel like they probably wouldn't have gotten much further. They all went home too soon as far as I was concerned. Rock should not have gone home that early. Was that dress hideous? Sure, maybe. But there was effort. What was the effort? Where was the effort in 8? Anyway, back to the top 3. I like Crystal Method. I think Crystal Method is a fine person. I think Crystal Method is a fine human. I do side eye Crystal Method's parents for voting for Mr. Trump, but they ain't in the competition, so I'm not going to hold it against Crystal. I think she's fine. Do I need her to win? Not really. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need Crystal to win. As for Gigi, I understand that Gigi has won 4 challenges. She has won the most in a bunch of mini challenges. So I understand, okay, give her the crown. But if that's, the criteria, then Shea Coulee should have a crown. You know what I mean? So Gigi Goode has also been very boring to me this season. Her last look on the runway, her 80s prom with the ruffles and the braces, hated it. Was it well executed and well constructive? And did it have there was a coherent concept that was, yes, all the boxes were checked. I just hated it. So I am rooting for Miss Jada Essence Hall of Milwaukee. And I think that I think that I just have enjoyed her the most all season. And I will be rooting for anybody Black. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to hope that we could get an Evie and Monet X Change and Jada all back to back like that. I think it's a little bit of a stretch. I don't think Mr. RuPaul's trying to do all that. But yeah, I'm sure I don't understand how to use Reddit. So I'm sure it did fall off, but that was a mess of a season. I don't think anybody liked Aiden Zane. And I think that a lot of that was because of the re-edit. I think that it was probably clear in the initial edit that, Aiden was annoying people, but I don't think that it would have been the central focus of the season if that other contestant, one, hadn't been there or had been there, but wasn't a terrible human being. So I think that it was probably played up for us at home. But the fact that was the biggest thing all season, that was 3 episodes. 3 episodes. That was it. And then they were gone. That's just me. It's just me. I mean, I guess you have the Jan really wanting to win. Go for it. Maybe not this. This was a bad season. But this was the queens are good. I do feel really bad for them, though. Not only did that person have to be edited out, but then the Corona hit and they couldn't even tour. So, I do feel bad for all of the queens here. There are some really good queens on this season, Heidi in Closet. If you could tell me, I don't really think that Heidi beat Jackie in that second lip sync. But I also didn't understand how Crystal Method won the stand-up challenge, the one-woman show challenge, because I thought the Phenomenal Phil was not funny at all. Like I was, again, like there's something about the re-edit, and I know that Crystal won that challenge, but and so that wasn't really affected by the re-edit. Like it didn't change like who won challenges or whatever, but it just wasn't funny. Like it wasn't me. So again, like no idea who's gonna win it, but I personally I can understand Gigi winning if only because she has like 4 wins. But I think that Jada is who I'm rooting for. And I get that, Crystal started at the bottom and now she's here. But bye. Don't need it. Bye. I think because of that person being thrown out, if they had brought Jackie up into the top 3, I feel like it would have been a more interesting scenario. I don't know. Might not have been. At least we could have had. I don't understand how they're doing the finale tonight. Like 5 lip sync songs. Like what? We're going back to like season 8, where they're each going to do like one song and then like battle it out through 2. So I don't know what's happening here. I just know that I want fucking Jada Essence Hall to win. And next week, I would like Shea Coulee to come in and just collect her crown and walk away. But I feel like some fuckery is going to go down on All Stars. I feel like some fuckery is definitely going down there. I'm also confused as to who wants to see India Farah again. Who was asking for that? Literally who? I mean, I don't know who's asking to see Mariah Balenciaga again either, but I can understand Mariah more than I can understand India Farah. But again, that's just me. And again, All Stars has already fucked me over. When Mr. RuPaul brought back all of the eliminated queens and they got to vote for the All Stars 3 top 2, that was the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life. Imagine that you're going to have the hands of the top 2 and the people that you got sent home. You were doing good in the competition, and your reward is that now they get to come back and fuck you over. A lot of people say a lot of queens on the show are robbed, and we could say that robbed isn't the right verbiage. Shangela was robbed. That was a highway robbery. I am also confused about tonight, but Team Jada. I don't know what they're doing. I don't understand what's happening, but I'll be there. I'll be watching. I'm sure Twitter will spoil it for me because I don't have anything related to Drag Race muted. But I think tonight I won't really mind. I won't mind being able to like be prepared to see the performance if she wins and be like, okay, I get to see her like really turn it out, or I'll get to prepare myself to be like, oh no, she doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not pressed about this getting spoiled for me. If you've never watched Drag Race, I think you should go do it. I mean, there are some really iconic moments. Not every season is a great season, but every season has great moments. So I think you should do it. I think that it's great background. If you have Hulu, there are 6 seasons on there. If you have Netflix and a VPN, I mean, you can watch all 12 seasons. But you didn't hear that one from me. Or I guess if you just live in, I don't know where you live, Mel the Raven Girl. If you're already in Europe, or at least in the UK, it's on the UK Netflix. I think Amazon Prime also has like 5 seasons. There's like WoW Presents Plus. You can watch them on there, I think. I don't know. But there's options out there. Let's get rid of that message, please. So it's been 50 minutes. Because we're not doing sprints, I don't want to keep you guys here for 2 hours. And I still need to do some adultings. We'll go for another 10 minutes. We'll be ending this stream at 1 o'clock my time. That's like, 4 o'clock on the East Coast. People can prep their dinners. I still don't know what we're doing for dinner here. I think we have like some frozen things that I might make. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I'll have to go see what the other people in my house are doing. Because maybe they are more on top of it than me. I was just like, I'm going live today, and we're gonna hope we have stuff. Oh, see, you're in the UK. It's on Netflix. Go for it. Yeah, it's all 12 seasons. You can start. I don't know if season one. I think season 1 was on there. I forget, but season 2 forward is definitely, and they're all great. Even like the really old ones. I think what's really great when you do go back and you're watching like season 2 or something, RuPaul will be like, "Oh, we need you to get into quick drag for the spinny challenge," and they'll be looking so busted, just so busted. The most busted. They were doing them dirty, really, so dirty. And then you get to season 12, Mr. RuPaul will be like, "I need you in quick drag," and they got like a full face of makeup. Their outfit is right. It's night and day from what the expectation used to be to what the expectation is now. And I think that's really interesting and something to keep in mind. Like you'll see, it's like very clear. Like season 3, these people are running. They're like walking down the runway and stuff that they got at like Wet Seal or a Windsor, Forever 21, like very mall. And season 8, season 9, season 12, it's like everything is from a designer, not like a Gucci or whatever, but a person who's actually in the business of making clothes and not just something they picked up at the store or something they might have got at a thrift store but like repurposed or something. It's really interesting. It's really interesting to see that shift over the past decade in televised drag. I have not ever gone to like a live drag show because that would require me to leave my house. And so I don't know what drag queens in the wild are doing. But I'm sure they're on a similar level because, they have to get on. They don't have to, but I don't know where I was going with that. But it's interesting to see, and I appreciate it. And it's just excellent background noise. I tend to like a lot of things that are background noise. Like the past couple of days, to distract myself from the mess on book Twitter. Even before then, I'm just watching multi-level marketing videos on YouTube. And I feel like I've learned more about these companies than I really needed to learn. I've learned that there are more people out here putting essential oils in their food than I thought was even possible. I thought we all knew essential oils aren't to like eat. They're not meant to be consumed. And they're talking about, I put some essential pepper in my pork. I put some essential garlic in my pork. Like, you can buy garlic. You can buy garlic or just regular garlic oil meant to cook with. Cheaper than essential oil. It'll last longer than your essential. I don't understand it. I thought we all knew essential oil was to go into like a diffuser or something. Like, I don't know. People are crazier than I thought. Drag shows are... okay. Let's do these in order. Watching Evolution Drag from back-to-back season is it really is. It's like, I think it's probably the best thing about the show is to see how much the show has changed over the years. I think just like watching it is interesting, but watching multiple seasons around the same time, or even just like you can like bounce around. You could just watch the first episode of every season and still see how much stuff has changed, and it's wild. Drag shows are fun. Maybe someday when we're all allowed to go out of our house, I'll do that. I don't know. My site is opening up very slowly, which I appreciate. I'm not trying to rush out into the community. Even when the state is open, I understand these people who are like, what was it, Missouri, who are all going to like the Ozarks. I don't care how fun it. Like, why are you all at the beach? What are you doing? Like, I know you've been in your house for like 3 seconds, but like, you couldn't wait another 3 seconds to go to the beach. Like, I don't just like you couldn't just wait to like. I also don't fuck with the beach, so that's another layer to that. This is what I watch. I just watch commentary. I very rarely watch a BookTube video. I will try, and I tried to watch BookTube now, but It's just I feel like when I'm watching a booktube video, I am more inclined to engage with it. Like I want to like leave a like and like maybe leave a comment, but I can just watch a random commentary video and feel no pressure to leave a comment ever, unless it's like someone I watch regularly, like Kat or Princess at Melina Pendulum. Those who I feel like I should leave a comment, but like most people, I'm just like, thanks for the entertainment. Next video. You can tell those people who put essential, really, you facts. I've heard those are fun, so that makes sense to me. Yes, I first found this out. So before I found the anti-MLM videos, I was falling down this rabbit hole of like raw food vegan, but specifically like who was it? Unnatural Vegans commentary on all of these raw food vegan people. And so I found she was reacting to this Fully Raw Christina video where, first of all, Fully Raw Vegans, I don't understand how they do it. I like cooked food. I don't, y'all out here eating fucking like 12 bananas in a smoothie, 12 blended bananas is not a fucking smoothie. That's also not a breakfast. Anyway, she was out here putting essential oils in her teas and smoothies. And I was like, no one is really doing this. This isn't a thing. Like, no one is doing that. And then I found the MLM people, and so people will advertise their doTERRA or their Young Living and telling people to put in their food. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, this is, there's like a whole community of you people. It's not just the one crazy raw food vegan. Like, y'all are out here marketing these things as ingestible. Also, if you have some time, apparently the man who founded Young Living, that was a crazy story. So fully recommend looking into that one, because when I was listening to that video, it was crazy. I think it was Illuminati that did that video. It's like NAUGHTI. Maybe there's 2 I's at the end. Great channel overall. It's my current obsession. And yeah, when she was telling me about that man, I was done. I was shaken to my core. Netflix is the reason they're off the Ozarks. That show was good as fuck, like shows like Weeds and Breaking Bad. I hated Breaking Bad. I watched 3 seasons of the show and failed to see the hype. Did not like it. I don't get it. The best part of the show was when fucking Kristen Ritter showed up. When Kristen Ritter showed up, and then Kristen Ritter left, and so I stopped watching the show. I liked Weeds for a little bit, but I think I only watched like the first 2 seasons of the show, and then I just stopped watching it. And I felt kind of bad because then Hunter Parrish got hot, and I was like, I should go back and finish that show. And I think it's still on Netflix, so maybe I'll watch it at some point, but who knows? As for Ozark on Netflix, also haven't watched it. Also have no plans to, but I've only ever heard good things about Ozark, so that's a plus. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't understand that either. I don't get it. I don't understand the actual fruitarians. There was some random, I think it's the same person. A natural vegan did a video on them, and she was like, at the time, homegirl was pregnant, talking about, yeah, she's going to feed her baby an all-fruit diet. And I'm like, look, it is not my place to tell you how to feed your child, but it's not my place to tell you how to feed your child. And I don't know how to give supplements to a baby, but I feel like they might need a little bit more than just some fruit. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a medical professional, but I feel like just giving your baby fruit, I feel like they might need something else. I don't know. Just an idea, just a thought. The idea that you have like the fruit is fibrous and that's going to brush away the plaque. Again, I'm not a dentist. I'm not a medical professional. I feel like that's maybe not accurate. I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. So that's all I have to say on that one. But these raw food vegans, some of them are a little, they're out there. I don't fully get with it. So won't be joining them, but I'm happy they're out here living their best life. But as for me, it is now 1 o'clock. So I am going to go. I would like to thank you all for coming out and joining me. I don't know when I'm going to go live again, because I need to film proper videos for the June TBR May wrap up situation. Maybe once I've done those, I will go live again. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again soon with one of those 2 videos. Don't know what's happening first, but until then, I'll be on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I really hate hype.